The next morning, the Earl walked down to the sheds to see the engines. He talked to Whiff first and then turned his attention to Scruff.
I hope we can make your stay on our railway comfortable, Scruff.
Thank you, sir, but I am a bit confused about something.
And what would that be, my dear engine?
Well, why am I staying here for a few days before going to the steamworks?
Well, Mr. Langley and I made a deal last night. I will help pay for your repairs, and to do that we are going to throw a fundraising special this weekend, the Earl said excitedly. You'll be a star attraction, being such a unique engine.
Oh, I see, but it's not like I'll be able to pull my own train.
Oh, don't worry about that, my dear engine. I need some time to organize the event, however, so for now you will be staying here.
Oh, said Scruff sadly. I guess I'll get comfortable in this shed.
No, my dear boy. I want you out on the line so people can see your state. You will be tagging along Stafford's trains.
But sir, Stafford interjected, who will be running Whiff's trains?
Stanley from the Fat Controllers Railway will be coming to help out. He should be here shortly. You two must set off at once so he can't have any more delays.
And the Earl walked back up to his office. Stafford looked curiously at Scruff. Well, you better get on the move then, he said as he left his berth. Stafford's first run of the day was a simple maintenance train. A small coach and a few trucks of ballast were hooked up behind Stafford and Scruff. A few curious boys came to see the unusual locomotives as they idled in the station.
Isn't he an oddball?
One of the boys said, pointing at Scruff.
Where do they find these weird engines?
Scruff was offended, but Stafford said,
Pay them no mind. It means they're interested in you.
I don't know where you come from, but where I live, being called an oddball is an insult.
Well, around here it's a compliment.
The two set off on their very slow train. Scruff enjoyed the morning sea air as the men carefully inspected the line. Occasionally they'd stop and apply a bit more ballast. When they passed through stations, people pointed at Scruff. One man even took his picture. I still don't understand the interest, Scruff said at the junction. I mean, I'm just a shunter. You're an interesting shunter. And here on the private estate railway, we rely on tourism. A unique engine like you draws in train enthusiasts. That's why the Earl is hoping we'll raise enough money for your repairs. Scruff was still a bit confused, but said no more. Over the next few days, Scruff tagged along on different trains. He didn't always stay with Stafford, sometimes being coupled to Lily or Stanley. Still, many enthusiasts came and took pictures of the Sentinel. The day before the fundraiser, Scruff was surprised to be hooked up behind Sir Aled Greedy. It had been a hair-raising ordeal for the little Sentinel. Finally, the day of the fundraiser came. 3 gleaming coaches sat waiting at the junction. The Earl explained the run to Stafford and Scruff, who were to head it.
It is a noontime luncheon. A slow but continuous run down our beautiful line. The only stop will be at Ballyhoo to pin down brakes. Good luck and have fun.
And with that, the Earl climbed aboard along with many excited enthusiasts. Soon Stafford started the train. He was in charge of braking and acceleration, while it was hoped Scruff could keep up in the countryside. They were making good time, and the guests were enjoying their lunch. I feel so well, Scruff chuntered as they made their way through the middle station. However, down the line, a small herd of wild goats had made their way down the hills to a patch of grass. They were curious by the large fence blocking them from even more delicious-looking patches. And, after a bit of maneuvering, a few had squeezed their way through the fence. A minute later, the luncheon special came to a grinding halt just before the last station. "What's happened?" Stafford asked, puzzled. "There's a flock of goats on the line." "Great," Stafford huffed. "They come down from the hills every once in a while. Just our luck, we were going so nicely, too." "Why is it a big deal? We have them on my line, too. Just release the brakes a little bit, I'll do the rest." Stafford was surprised, but did what Scruff told him to. The train inched forward, and Scruff blew steam and whistled. The goats took no notice at first, but as the train crept closer and the steam surrounded them, they took flight back to their hills. "They're scared creatures, quite jumpy. You just need to have a little faith that they'll move," Scruff explained. Stafford was most impressed. The luncheon special arrived on time at the castle. Stanley helped push them up the spire. Stafford, Scruff, and Stanley were positioned side by side as the enthusiasts took endless pictures. Finally, the Earl stood on Stafford's roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, this run was for a special cause. Last week, Scruff came to me with his old owner to make a business deal. I wasn't impressed with the condition Scruff was kept in, and expressed this to his owner. He brushed it off and took offense. Later on, when Scruff broke down, I decided enough was enough. I forced his owner to sell Scruff to me, so I can take care of him. Scruff is now owned by myself and leased to Thompson Langley Waste Dump. This run was necessary to help pay for his overhaul, and I'm pleased to say we definitely reached the amount needed.
The Earl turned to Scruff.
Scruff, welcome to the team.
The crowd clapped and cheered, and Scruff just beamed. Now, Scruff is in fine working order. He still works at the waste dump, but regularly makes visits to the Earl's Railway, where train spotters eagerly take his photo. He is happy with his life and can be heard to say, "I might not understand what they see in an engine like me, but it keeps me doing what I love to do." And the other engines wholeheartedly agree.